Boom. Hello, good morning. Let's see, let me just do the sharing thing. Let's see, Twitter. Twitter. Now, oops, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, it was a bit of a rough day yesterday. We had deployed something infrastructure-wise to our development. Like the thing is that what we're doing is that we have a stream environment, and in that stream environment, we're testing everything from database changes to infrastructure changes and everything. The thing is that when we do development for the clients, what we do is that we use the stream environment to test with like the API and the VMs and everything. So it sometimes in extreme cases we can get blocked quite a bit, and that happened yesterday. Yeah, I suggested that we do like a session and just talk about when we get into this state and how we can avoid it, and highlight when we do deploy new infrastructure related things, API related things, so that the people who does client development, who depends on the stability of these services to do any work, is notified. Yeah, cool. But new day, new opportunities. So let's just start from the beginning and see where we can go with this. I actually cleaned up PR, pending PR, a draft. I think I'm going to change the showcase, because what I did is I updated CodeSandbox states to rather have this API. And it's interesting like how much we've iterated on this. And what's really nice is that we have a ton of actual usage examples in our code base. So instead of coming up with APIs, we can look at how we use existing APIs and how we can improve them. So this is definitely an improvement. But I'm going to change the showcase here before I share it with the others. But we're not going to focus on that. Let's just dive into... let's see, there we have... is my calendar behind here? No. Let's see. So I don't have anything in my calendar today. So that's nice. We should be able to get a lot of stuff done. So let's just start. Let's see. Solve the bug when you fork from branch. Determine its key point to main in some places. Oh yeah, this is closed. This is closed. New issue. Workspace persistence issues. Yeah, so we had a pretty big issue with something that looks like a rather simple UI change, but it's actually super complicated. Because it also ties into persistence and everything. So I think we reverted the whole thing. And yeah, so I'm going to give morning, David. I thought lost. I'll if there is anything you need me discuss, support, etc., please let me know. You are the most important person for me today. Yeah, so just like and we have to be like everybody like feel responsible for stuff going wrong in production. We have a really good culture. Like if this stuff happens, we give each other support because everybody does it, and we understand. Everybody has an understanding of the complexities we're trying to solve, and that we're pushing quite hard now on getting things out. We're spreading a bit thin, so people are working a bit too much alone on certain implementations where there should be like 2 people. But instead of like doing the blame game, we just give each other support, and then like that's the best way to solve it. And then as we move on, like we have tiny iterations, like constantly trying to improve the process. But yeah, I can't really. Yeah, I think this is related to that issue. Yeah, I talked to Roman and suggested that this is really a very direct monetization type of implementation, and suggested that I talked to Cabran. It is a bit and our separation of dashboard and editor is a bit weird now, because the 2 teams are split both by client and by goal. This visualization seems to be very tied to the monetization goal, which is laser focused on the now dashboard team. For us, it becomes a distraction because it is not related to stabilize the existing experience, which is our focus. So I want to suggest that the dashboard team takes on this issue, and Alex being part of that team takes on the task, so that we can continue focusing on stability. Just as suggested. Which is the laser focus on the dashboard. Stabilizing the existing experience, which is our focus. So I want to suggest that the dashboard team takes on this issue, and Alex being part of that team takes on the task. We should not be separated by code and clients, but goals. That way we can continue focusing on stability. Just a suggestion. Bow. Not owl. Bow? Isn't there a bow? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. We're a dashboard team and an editor team. And even though the whole company is very focused on proving sustainability for the company, the 2 teams are very much like the dashboard team is very much focused on direct monetization for that sustainability. So implementing trials and subscriptions and all of this stuff. But we're calling it the dashboard team because that is where the gist of the functionality is. And then we have the editor team, which is not which is tackling that sustainability from a different perspective. It's for retention. It's making things stable, making sure that people can actually run their projects and all that stuff. And even though that's, again, supporting the sustainability goal of the company, it's not directly related to monetization. So with this example, this is a new feature which is tied to the monetization goal, I argue. And it doesn't help stability or anything. You can argue it fixes stability in terms of if you hit resource limits, like it breaks the experience. So yeah, maybe that's the problem. It's such an in-between thing. At the end of the day, we don't have enough people to actually work on this. So currently, anyways. Yeah, but this is great. We need the signs for this. Okay, let's... I will. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think like we're very transparent. We like a lot of us has worked in many different companies, and we know that no company is perfect, and like everyone's just trying to do their best, and you have these crazy development environments and stacks and everything, and so why don't so we're trying to battle imposter syndrome. Just share the good and the bad, and keep our motivation up and try to make things better, because that's basically what everyone's at the end of the day trying to do. So yeah, sleep tight. Awesome. So now we have, let's see. Yeah, I've been on this exact types thing. Well, did I click it? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's interesting monetization. Yeah, it's like you want to, like it has a, like it costs money to run a company and run the infrastructure, and you want to be fair, so that the monetization you do expose to your users, or that like the subscriptions, it's not there to like lure people, like primarily it's not there to like lure people in to make them pay. It's to be fair, like you should get more value out of that payment than what you pay. That's like the goal. And then it's really complicated because technology doesn't care about the value you give, right? So you might have like insane costs on infrastructure, but the value you put out to the user from that infrastructure cost isn't enough. But you still have to take that money from the users to even make things run, so, or be sustainable. So yeah, it's extremely interesting balance. But I'm like our whole infrastructure is not really driven by being cheap. It's more about being light, because that's where we're coming from. Version 1, everything running in the browser. Now moving to like server-side execution for everything. It needs to be super, super light, because we're aiming for the same experience as if it was running in the browser, which is an insane goal to have. But, you know, insane goals is what drives innovation, I think. Dev sandboxes support. Okay, great. So we're going to, let's look at this one first. I do not agree on this one, because you can rather try catch the firing of because you can rather try catch the firing of the what do? We the firing of the event, which we already do. Yeah, we have this in interesting discussion on I created something called an async event emitter, which basically allows you, when you fire an event, you can actually wait for all the subscribers of that event to resolve asynchronously. And then you move on from there. And it decouples in a good way some piece of logic we have. And then the question is like, what should happen when it fails? But I want to argue that we need to handle if it fails, but it shouldn't be inside. It shouldn't silently fail inside that async event emitter. It needs to actually give an error, and then it's more dot fire. Where is it? And then is I don't agree on that, because you because it will silently fail. Which can easily be overlooked by anyone using the tool. Since .fire returns a promise, you will naturally that you await, you will naturally handle the errors there. And we already do. But we can make the error better. Because now we assume that it times out, but it could be one of the other listeners erroring. Since returns a promise that you wait, you will naturally handle the errors there. Because it will suddenly fail without any context, which can easily be when using the tool. Since .fire returns promise that you wait, you will naturally handle the errors there, describing the context of why the error happens. And we already do. But we can make the error better. We can also I disagree here as well, because the whole point of making this event-based is that they are unrelated. Because the whole point of making this event-based is that they are the whole reason for this is that we have unrelated logic that just listens to this event. If the logic was co-located, was related, you would not fire an event, or the logic would run behind the same listener. This event emitter should not be responsible for Git operations running at the same time. That is something that I I think it is wrong to make the event emitter responsible for Git operation behavior. That is something the outside needs to handle, and does with the git lock. Which we do. Needs to handle. Which we do, because there are other scenarios than events that can cause Git operations to run at the same time. We have the wait for Git lock thing. And inside picture we have queues to deal with the same thing. The tool should be small, simple, and efficient. There should be small, simple, and know nothing about the outside world. The outside world is what gives context, knows what errors can occur, etc. So, okay, so I have to reread this. I just had to get this out, and now maybe I missed something. We should not cancel all other promises if one unrelated promise fails. But we don't. The promises still run. Okay, so even though one promise fails, the rest will still run. The promises are executed. Oh, like you mean synchronously? But yeah, if it synchronously fails, that is not strictly the case. All promises will run. If any of them asynchronously fails, the others. Oh yeah, but it kind of, yeah, I see what you mean. I will not cancel all other promises if one unrelated promise fails. For fuck's sake. Yeah, I agree and disagree. The problem is that if we let something fail inside the tool, then you won't know about it outside the tool. And you should know about it outside the tool, because that's where you know what logic you try to run. You can give good error descriptions and so on. Yeah, I do not agree with it on this one, because it will silently fail without any context, which can easily be overlooked by anyone using the tool. It will naturally handle the errors there, describing the context of why the error happens, and we already do, but we can make this error better. I do see your point on us now not waiting for other promises to resolve before moving on. Is there like a all? Wait, we can use all settles. But we can change this to all settled instead. What's it called? All settled. JS all settled. New promise, and then results. I do not like that it will silently fail without any context, which can easily be overlooked by one using it. Since fire returns point. But I do see your point on an early promise resolvent rejecting and us just moving on before waiting for the others. An early promise rejecting and us just moving on. So I updated this to using all settled instead, where it will reject if any of the promises rejected, but all of them will finish before the fire finishes. That's a good one. Okay. I disagree with this one, because the whole reason for implementing this tool is that we have unrelated logic that just listens to this event. If the logic was related, you would not fire an event, or the logic would run behind the same listener. I think it is wrong to make the event emitter responsible for quirks in the environment it is used. Git operation behavior. Where it will slow down because of sequential execution. Making it less efficient, as every promise waits for the other one. Let's make this simpler. I think it is wrong to make the event emitter responsible for quirks in the environment. The Git thing is not something a completely unrelated tiny tool should take into account. It should be small, opinionated, and fast. Should be small, unopinionated, and fast. We have. Oh, come on. I think it's wrong to make the response quirks. I don't mean to write it like this. A tool should like, this is more of a principle of mine. It's like when you create a generic tool should not know anything about the outside world, not make any assumption. Well, I guess that's the point. Like I want to say the initial thing. The reason you use events is because you want to decouple logic. The Git thing is not something that couples logic, but couples execution on the operating system. This is not, this tool has this tool should not have any, how should I put it? I do not think this tool should take that into account, because now promises will wait for each other and execute slower. And we have Git, and the Git issue is not related to these events. It is a general concern executing logic, which is why we have wait for git lock and queues and git operation queue in picture, etc. So I think click on the comment. Oh yeah, did I? This is such, I hate when like small things goes into like principles. Like that's often where you see it. Like you build these tiny utilities and you very quickly get into like principles. And there these big discussions can occur when it's like minor stuff. But like when you have utilities, they like typically affect a lot of different logic. So yeah. Yeah, I think I made my point. I'm not sure how to describe the content. Yeah, let's add this and then we'll fix the all settled thing. Yeah, okay, let's do it. And let's fix the thing. And hopefully we have a healthier development environment today. Let's see. Where is it? Events, open. Oh, we're in here. Async, array, promise, all settled. And then we have results. And that means, what was the promise settle result? I guess we can just, yeah. For result in of results, if result dot, oh sorry, results rejected, throw, did it have, does it have like a, yeah. Okay, so the point is that we create a race with a timeout, and then we let all the promises run in parallel, and they can fail or they can succeed. And at the end of that, we go through the results, and if any of them fail, we do throw an error. So the outside world would always use like a try catch around fire to give context to these errors, why they might happen. reason, what is reason? Is that like the error? I guess so. Okay, and we should write a test for that. Times out rejects when listener. I guess the yeah, we don't need these things. Yeah, we have a bunch of tasks running. We talked about putting them behind a single task. Expected error. Which one was this? Rejects when listener rejects. Oh yeah, throw error. I guess this is because it's like an reason. That is the actual error. Okay, so we'll just throw the reason, and then I think it will work. Yeah. But we should still okay. So on event, let's sleep 5 here, 10 here. Has run resolve promise equals false, and then has run resolve promise equals true. So we should return. Why do we return? Oh yeah, because it's a promise. Okay, so await. And then expect has run result promise to be true. Okay, let's try again. So now we're taking into account that it should wait for both of them to run, even though the first one fails. And it does, so that's great. Let's just update the PR. Cool. Updated with all settled and updated tests. Cool. Then let's move on to the next one, which is to actually test finally. Wait, only 3 changes? Wasn't this a big change? Oh no, yeah, of course, it was just it was because of formatting. Okay, so we just need to test this. Let's see, let's copy that one. Just send it. Make fetching user conditional. Cool. So what I need here, this is the actual URL we need. Yes, and then we need a branch of applications to connect to this one. Then we should be able to run sandboxes there. So this is basically allowing us to run cloud sandboxes in our dev environment. Ah, nice. Okay, so we're not completely there yet. just got this on. Copy that. Restarting. Okay, let's try to restart, see if it helps. Yeah, we're still having some issues, it seems. But at least restarting it helped. Let's see. Oh. Let's see. Let's report this as well. When I restarted, I got this. File already exists. Cool. I'm not sure if I can do much about that. Yeah, let's just skip it. Oh, that also failed. Wow. Okay, this is very much broken. I'll try to restart again. I often forget that I'm actually working with a beta product. It's rough dog fooding your own product at times. Oh, I can't take any more Mariah Carey. Yeah, so I restart again and now it works. Cool, but at least I've been able to report this. Oh yeah, that was my worry. Ah, that sucks. You saw that model popping up. What the hell should we do about that? The problem is that when we fork the VM, we fork the actual picture process, which is now pointing to the old branch, the main branch. And then when this fires up, it gets its initial git status. It's not, it matches the branches and sees that it's wrong. Because it takes like just a tiny bit of time. I think the model of different branches is still an issue. When we fork a VM, it seems that reinitialize takes a bit of time. It seems that reinitialize takes a bit of time, so the model pops up and then is removed. Pops up. When we fork it seems that reinitialize takes a bit of time, so the model pops up and then is quite instantly removed. How should we deal with that? So the VM thinks it's still on the old branch because we're reinitializing it with the new branch. Yeah. We might need to fix this in picture client because it will immediately ask for, like, the thing is, like, should we wait? Like, there's two ways to fix this. We can fix this on client side by not requesting git status, but just wait for the first status update. But that's wrong. Yeah, we can't do that because we want the initial git status before we actually say that we are connected to the client or connected to Pitcher. So then you can argue, yeah, you shouldn't even be able to connect to the new VM until it's done configuring. But that's like, we don't have a mechanism for that currently. Then I am not quite sure how to resolve this. We might need to create a mechanism of letting Pitcher know that we are well, we could do, like, the interesting thing is that the host is actually responsible for, yeah. I think we need to add a mechanism on the client web socket in Pitcher agent, which queues the connection when it is reinitializing. So it does not even connect until we are done properly reinitializing. Well, the thing is, like, it's working now, so you can, like, adding this queue or this, like, blocker will make it take longer to get into the initial experience. It will take longer to get into the experience, though. This is really annoying. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. Let's continue testing. So what we want to do here, we want to basically just take that thing, open this thing. Is this still not fixed? Let me fix it. Oh, great. Yeah, it might be the picture version. The client is already connected. The client is already connected when post re-init hook is run. Okay, I just reported it's still an issue here, so let's try restarting again. I will think a bit. Let's see. So the problem is really Next.js here. So we're going to stop this process, and we're going to go to terminal, and we're going to remove the cache. We're going to close this, and then we're going to start the thing again. Yeah, it's interesting. Like the thing is that you can argue that you shouldn't be able to connect as a client while we are reinitializing the VM, because there might be other problems that's caused by this. Oh, what happens? I think you are on main, and I can't believe Slack can't fix the freaking main branching to draft foo. The VM is forked and is still on main. The client connects while reinitialize is sent to the VM. While reinitializing, the client asks for git status. Status now getting the old one. And the old the forked status from main. But I think a lot of bad stuff can happen when the client can connect while reinitializing. We should really not allow that. But we can ask Jasper and Evis to comment. We can make connections to the VM pending while we reinitialize. But yeah, let's get some feedback. Let's see. Engineering. Jasper, Evis, JK. We haven't. We detected an issue with reinitialize. It seems when we fork a VM, we allowed the client to connect while we are reinitializing. This has not really caused any known issues up until now. The issue now is that we do a git status before the post reinit hook is run, the issue now seems to be that we do a git state that the client does a git status before the post reinit hook is run. This causes a blip in the UI. But it made me think that we should not allow a client to connect while we are reinitializing. All sorts of weird behavior. How do you write that? Behavior could be caused. Could happen here. So I wanted to suggest that while a VM reinitializes, we do not resolve client connections on the client WebSocket until reinitialize is done. Of course, now it will take a bit longer to connect, but it seems extremely risky to connect a client to a VM which is not ready, which is not configured correctly yet. How you feel about this? Okay, we detected an issue with reinitialize. It seems when we fork a VM, we allow the client to connect while we are reinitializing. This has not really caused any known issues up until now. The issue now seems to be, as it gets before the post return, this causes a blip in the UI. Related to highlighting branches out of sync. But it made me think that we should not allow a client to connect while we are reinitializing. All sorts of weird behavior can happen here. So I wanted to suggest that while a VM cool. Contextual errors don't reach. Anyways, why isn't this running? Oh yeah, it's an again Next.js thing. Okay, cool. It is running. It's just for some reason the Next.js gives like a white screen on the first load. Super weird. But anyways, when I branch now, we should have a running. Oh, I wanted to. Can we see? Do I have the WebSocket here? Nice. I wanted to see if I could. Oh, we're getting a lot of messages here. So this is old ones. I wonder if I could see. Yeah, git status. Nice, I actually got it. Yeah, it's like the first one we get. I can't really branch. I wonder what we got here. So it seems branch main. Yeah, branch main. But here we see branch draft. Those two should have, well, it depends. Like, target branch main. Well, that's correct. Target branch main. But here it says actually branch draft naughty. Okay, so this could be something else then. looked at message. It seems to have the correct branch. The first status message in client. But does that mean, do we get another status? So sad that we can't really see the... can we... logs, can we show protocol message? Yeah, okay, so we're going to do this again just to make sure that we... Let's go to main. Time it hibernates, it breaks, it seems. Oh, now it's like super broken. Okay, do we have, does it show protocol messages now? Oh, it doesn't persist that? Seriously? It should do that. Oh, but I don't think it does. Ah, that sucks. Yeah. That. Have to branch and test. Need to do something else first. Let's see. Okay, so we actually did intentionally allow clients to connect to the VM. Thanks for all the context. Interesting. We'll have to do a lot of changes on the client as well to lazily enable certain features. Now we block. Now we block connection. Now we block resolving the client until we have initial data. I do like this idea of lazily enabling features, but yeah, it is a piece of work for sure. Let's see. Okay, let's just test this freaking PR first. So what we want to do, we want to go in here and we just want to connect to this version. Oh yeah, so we want to go, oops, .n local. We want to change the picture manager URL to be API version 1, and then we need to restart this thing. Yeah, so what we're doing now when we connect to a picture is that we go and get all the initial data. So like the file system, Git status, and other things. What's interesting is these are tied to capabilities. So capabilities could have a loading state. Basically give capabilities a loading state. I keep showing. Oh yeah, I meant more that if we keep this lazy thing, I meant more we can make it even faster. So we do not wait for any initial data. We just show UI as the data is becoming available. But if we, because if we wait for this init message on Git, for example, you are still blocked until the VM is ready to roll. Okay. So is this... what's failing? Oh yeah, sorry. It should be 404 because I'm not signed in. I think. No, this is weird. Because this isn't private. So I'm getting a 4-on-1 on not authorized. Do we have to be authorized? Yeah. What we could do maybe is just give a specific flag. Oh, yeah. Oh, we can create a system notification which says reinitialized, and picture client exposes that state with an event. So at least the client can await specific things related to actually being reinitialized, or something similar. Because certain things are the same, being reinitialized, while other things requires you to be properly reinitialized. So a way to just identify that VM is actually fully ready to go. As an example, showing the have you changed the branch model? Yeah, it's interesting. Like we could just explicitly give that notification that okay, the VM is actually ready to roll now. In other words, picture client knows if we are reinitializing. Let picture client know. I guess this is what you meant, only per feature. use flag would not block all connecting thing. It blocked all connecting thing. It would just be something we could use to figure out when to run certain logic, like showing the model for conflicting branches. Reinitializing. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let's just expose the state of reinitializing, and then we yeah, exactly. I like this. Let's expose this reinitializing state and expose it to through picture client, so that we can deal with the problem at hand with some iteration. Because for now it would be enough to just check picture client is initializing and not open the model. In this case, we do not have to touch anything else. Whereas later maybe we want to do something more general from inside picture client itself. Whereas later maybe we want to do something more general, and at least we have the state there. Okay. Let's create an issue for this. By the way, I have no idea why I'm getting 404 here. I think we have a good solution now. I will create an issue for further comments. Let's see. Let's create an issue. So yeah, you didn't get actually insight to all of that. But we are going to put this into the Git improvement, Git experience project. Let's put JK on this. It's a to-do. Expose reinitializing state to picture client. We currently have an issue with consuming picture state too early when branching. The reason is that Pitcher needs to reinitialize before updating certain Git states, etc. To avoid we do want optimistic connections. In other words, not wait for reinitialize. The fuck? Reinitialize to finish. Like the text editor of this, sorry, not Discord, Discord as well, and Linear is so much better than Slack. I wish they could just copy it. Not wait for reinitialize to finish. We do want optimistic connections, in other words. We do want to have optimistic connections, in other words, not wait. To mediate this, we want to expose the current reinitialize state to Pitcher client, so that features that depends on a fully reinitialized VM can wait for it. Specifically, we have one feature now detecting if the current branch on VM differs from the branch opened. We have one feature now that if the current branch on VM differs from the branch opened. This needs to wait for a full reinitialize. We can expose this in many ways, but want to simplify with a simple reinitialized notification, or initialized. I guess that's what we can do, initialized notification. Yeah, how will we do this? With a simple initialize flag when connecting, and initialized notification when actually initialized. Pitcher client will expose this as a flag and an event. Well, as a value, as a state. So implement is initialized flag on the client join request. Now this is the first thing that happens. We run client join, I believe. Can't remember. Let's see. Come on. I haven't gotten any response on the... Let's see. Sorry. So when we connect, I believe the first thing we do is, so we just connect. Yeah, we join, and then we have a join result, and that currently does not contain if we're initialized or not. So we need that on the client join response. So we have the initial state of picture whenever a client joins. Implement system initialized notification so that picture client can update its exposed state. Okay, create issue, view issue. Let's see. Where did we talk about this? Engineer? This member wants to say, actually, initialize. Cool. Cool. So let's go back and see if we can test this. Only do it when you load the editor. It does do it when you load the editor. And it is based on Git status. We do not know currently. Git status is old or reinitialize. But by adding this flag in the issue, we know 100% and can deal with any scenario requiring actually. Can you lazily connect to that is not an issue. Yeah, we're just discussing we need to know basically we have to know if post reinit has run, because it changes the git state of the VM. We cannot trust git related things. Some things we do not care. Some features does not care about this, but others do. So just exposing if we have reinitialized seems to me to be a really good thing, no matter. To do whatever we want in the UI at a granular. And return. Okay. Sorry, we're just discussing. We yes, but thinking 5 minutes ahead all the time, but thinking like this has a cost. Yes, but if we always follow this principle, we end up with a shitty code base. Hacking something always does the job, and the users are happy. It is not about that. It is about how the project looks in 6 months, where every single problem has been solved with hacks. Uh, uh, okay, so we have a bit of tension now, like we're really pushing. We have a bit of tension on how to resolve issues, because there is this school of thought where you can move really fast and make users happy and work on more things, get more stuff done. And that works really well in the short term, but in the long term, that doesn't work very well, because implementations or the fixes aren't made with taking into account like the patterns, and move fast and break things. And it's so conflicting for me, because how do you evaluate every single time? For me, it's much better to have like follow a principle. Like when I fix something, I fix it well. I know that's not always the best for the user at that point in time, because they have to wait a bit longer. But I feel confident that this is the best. This will still be a good thing in 6 months. And then you can very easily argue that, what the hell, you should think about the user. They are the most important asset or whatever we have. And I can't argue against that, right? It's impossible. So maybe I should just do something quick. And I'm not even going to ask for a review on this. I'm just going to get it into production, because the users need this fix right now. But in 6 months, that can become a problem. So I feel like it's almost like user experience and developer experience is at odds with each other. And I am so conflicted on this, because for me it is much for me, because I do think you are right, but evaluating every task at hand, if you should hack it or do it properly, you should but I am so conflicted on this, because I do think you are right. Like V1 shows how insanely far you can go. It feels like UX and DX is I I am so conflicted on this, because I think you are right, but I equally know you are wrong, because I think I shouldn't say you. I think the argument is right, but I equally know the argument is wrong, because the additional time you spend doing things right makes you move so much faster in the long run. So, because I think there, because yeah, so because the argument is both correct from one perspective and then equally wrong from another perspective. And for me, it is better to follow a principle than having to evaluate for every situation, for every task at hand, how you want to approach it. This is so difficult. Like, what, you're a startup, and why write code that will make you move faster in 6 months if you aren't here in 6 months? Yeah, I'm so conflicted on it. Yeah, I'm so conflicted on this. Because it makes no sense to yeah, it's like, because you can easily argue I personally believe that if you do things right from the start, even though it takes a lot more time, that is what makes us successful. Yeah, exactly. They are both equally right and wrong, which is such a tension and so hard to evaluate case by case. So for me, I often reflect on what is the most successful approach if you cling to one of them. Reduce that we're just talking about, like, we're having this issue with a model, and Eves, he always has this hacker first, like, not hacker as in a bad thing, but as in a let's fix it and move on, because the state of the company is we just have to push on, because we're still trying to prove that the company should exist, right? And we have this model that pops up when it detects that you have moved to a different branch than what we expect you to be on, because you opened a specific branch, but you maybe went to the terminal, changed the branch, or process changed the branch, or whatever. And then we have a model that shows you that happened. Problem is that when you fork a VM, you're still on the old branch, and we allow the client to connect while it's reinitializing. So it gives the model a brief second before it disappears again. That model. And now, like, as I talked to Jasper, and we suggested that let's just expose if feature is initializing or not, so that at least the clients can evaluate when we implement logic if they depend on a fully initialized VM or not to to run that logic. And then Eva says, rightfully so, let's just not show the model for like 3 seconds. Let's just wait 3 seconds and then evaluate if we should show the model, which would work, right? But that's like a shitty implementation. Like you would never do that if you wanted to do things properly. And like having this state exposed in the client is a good thing. Like we're going to meet this issue later. Like you want to wait to be properly initialized. So you're thinking ahead. But then in the situation of the company, it's like, well, that imaginary feature, like in 6 months, might not matter at all because we didn't move fast enough. We didn't fix things fast enough. So people didn't want the product. But what on the other side, in 6 months, we're probably, if we kind of lean towards the hacky approach, you in 6 months you're in a state where you would spend the next 6 months just cleaning up everything and create a ton of regressions, and people would just hate your product. Yeah, exactly. I often reflect on if it is possible to run a startup with healthy engineering principle while clinging to healthy engineering. And cling to healthy engineering principles. Does it really have to be a balance? I do not know. Because all the hacks also creates a ton of regression, which is really, really bad for market fit. Yeah, it's I can't spend more time with this. Let's see if we can get this thing tested. Okay, so for some reason I'm not able to connect to this one, and I have no idea why. So I'm not authenticated. That might be the reason, but I'm not sure why that's the reason. Let's just try authenticating and of course. How? But I can't authenticate. How should we do this? Yeah, that's how you fix ports. Yeah. But it's still like I've still seen it pop up. So I would say it ensures that the port is it's eventual consistency fix. It's not like it depends on what you mean by fixed. You made it eventually consistent, which is way better than what it was before, of course. But yeah, you can still see the port pop up sometimes. I think I might be mistaken though. I've just seen sometimes like the port notification pops up, and I've been like, why did that pop up? But how should I? What should I do? Why doesn't it connect to the thing? Because it says I'm not authorized, which I don't understand. Because now I'm not able to authorize. I think we need to fix that. Manager request failed with status code 4 or 4. We have to show the authenticate button here. Yeah. Oh my god. How should I do this? Should I test first? Like, does it fail because it can't find it at all? I don't think that's the case. I think it's because I'm not authenticated. So we have to fix that so that others can also authenticate. Because this is connecting to... No, let's test it first, because I'm not sure if this is the actual problem. So we'll restart it. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, like the timeout fix, it's never perfect for the system or the user. Which is like inherently in its nature, because it's like a guessing. It's a guess per... The tension is when you hack that PM product on the code that is also going to become the product after PMF. What I want to... That is what I reflect on. Is it really true? To me, it is not about hacking. To me, it's not about or making hacking or making the perfect solution. It is only about scope. So regardless, you cling to healthy engineering principles, but you reduce scope. You do not need 100% scope. for PMF. Yeah, but that is what I reflect on. To me, it's not about hacking or making the perfect solution. It is scope. Scope is the tool you use to move fast or not. Not the tool you use to move faster. To scope is a tool you use to what's it called when you how fast you move? Well, scope is a tool you use to evaluate how fast you need to move, not how good the implementation is. I think one can just as easily argue that when you find PMF, you can in retrospect see that you only needed a percentage of the feature set to get there. So you always do good engineering work. You just reduce scope if you need to move fast. One can just as easily argue that when you find PMF, you can in retrospect see that you only need for a discussion's sake, I think one can just as easily argue that when you find PMF, you can in retrospect see that you only need a percentage of what. When you find you did not need all the features you hacked together. One can just as easily argue that we are taking on too much scope for PMF. As we are taking shortcuts to make that scope work. Yeah, but that's why to me it's not about hacking. So with this task as an example, we could do way more, but we reduce to a minimal scope of exposing a simple state. That state could be more granular. We could make changes to picture implementation, etc. The implementation is good, and it is good engineering, but we reduce the scope as much as possible. You could move even faster with a hack, but to me that is where where the tension starts. Yeah, well, to me, it's not hacker making. That's what I reflect. To me, it's not. Sorry, I'm just so into this discussion, and I have a hard time detaching from it. It is also the tool you use. PMF is not about using a hacker mentality to move fast. It is about being super restrictive on scope. But that scope is properly implemented. I also I know this culture of get it running fast, break things fast, etc. But I like to question it because to me it's not about hacking or making scope is a tool you use to evaluate how fast you want to move. In this case we could have gone. So in this case we did practice scope reduction to the minimal effort to do it the right way. We could have done way more. So in that sense, and that is the it is still more work than a hack, but then that is what I reflect on. I think there is a world where good engineering practices does not have to be ignored, have to be overlooked, and you can still reap the benefits. Mentality. Okay, let's see. Okay, now I have to detach from that discussion. I should actually have eaten lunch 30 minutes ago. Let's see, sign in. Okay, so if I can sign in now, and when we move to that other one and it works, we have to fix that because it's blocking any testing really. Now we go and oops, version 1, restart. Do we have you still running with us soon? Right, let's see. Pending. Okay, so now we got the 500. Didn't respond in 5 seconds. But still, like I got a different error now, so it means is something not running? You have time to do a session. I'm trying to test CodeSandboxes for the I'm trying to test CodeSandboxes PR, but I am not able to open repo either. I think it is just final quirks with the dev flow. Could we do a session and nail it down? Quirks on me not running the right stuff. Could we do a session together so we all have context on the state of things, and I will document how we use the dev flow. I'll make some final fixes if needed. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop the stream. This is super boring. I need traction to make this stream interesting, and we currently have a few issues with the dev environment. So I think I'm gonna have like one good day of productivity. And then we're going to get back to it because this is super boring. Sorry. We'll talk later. Or tomorrow I'm going to work on... we'll see each other tomorrow. It's Flexible Friday. I'm going to work on something awesome. Okay, bye.